you if we can do this. So we are live. Let us know if you can hear us when you come. So I actually just posted this as well. Um, so I was asking if we can do it 1 hour later because I wanted to go cinema to see the Oppenheimer movie. Have you heard of this?
I haven't, but I know Barbie just launched in the cinemas.
Yeah, I'm not into like Barbie. I think I'm not going. I don't think I'm gonna go to cinema for Barbie unless my wife will ask me. But Oppenheimer is the Christopher Nolan. You know, Dark Knight,
Yeah,
Inception.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's the new movie of his. It's um it's pretty cool. I'd recommend that to you. So we're just talking that Sen is living in Switzerland, originally from Germany. It's big difference between Switzerland and Germany, right? Because even in my imagination was like, yeah, it's essentially like the same language, right?
mhm.
And but connection issues.
You're on my internet. I just got.
Well, I'm trying to figure this out as well. So if someone can connect, that's not a great start. But we are okay now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're
I
okay.
think it could have been me for yeah, it could have been me. So I was asking, like, Switzerland is substantially wealthier than Germany, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can say that. Yeah. I mean, not
So
in total. I mean, Germany is just so much bigger than Switzerland,
yeah,
but
yeah.
people tend to be a little bit better off here. That's true.
But like when it comes to like average salaries, right? Swiss salaries are much higher. Where
They're
about
much.
Switzerland? Yeah. Where about Switzerland you live? Where about? Which city?
I live in the northern part, in the German-speaking part, next to Basel, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Basel. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um.
not in the city. I'm not a city guy. I prefer to be a little bit more
uh,
out in the calmer regions. But
yeah.
there's a lot of really nice things about Switzerland that I, as a German, really appreciate. And I mean, of course, there's a financial aspect. People earn more and at the same time pay less taxes. So
Right.
even though products are a little bit more expensive, you're in general still much better off than in other countries. But it's really expensive. So if you go to a city and get a beer, you pay like just a normal beer in a random, bar, you pay 10, 12, 14 bucks just for a beer.
Yeah, but also like so if you go shop, so you live on the countryside, and if you go supermarket, are the prices also high?
Depends on what you're looking for. So they have quite strong, protectionism. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of Swiss people who might be listening to this, they will, roll their eyes because obviously I don't know the country as good as they do, but they have strong protection for the economy. So there's a lot of local goods, which naturally just make it much, you know, more expensive. So, for example, just a 200 grams of butter, organic, costs $5 here.
Yeah, my friend, it's actually Christopher is my friend from Hong Kong. He work in the finance industry.
Mm.
Yeah, anti-free trade. Yeah. Uh,
Well, it's not like the whole country is just marching in one direction. There are so many different, parties and political affiliations, but in general, they're rather protectionist, and this helped them to really withstand, the last couple of years of inflation and economic crisis. So while even the USA, the biggest global economy, they had a raging inflation of I think 9 or 10% at the top, and they're just starting to get it, under control again. And Switzerland, I think it topped off at 3.7%, and now it's back to 2 point whatever. So
well,
they nothing.
well, you said U.S. had raging inflation, but whole of the Europe had worse,
Yeah,
right? Like
definitely, definitely.
Switzerland didn't.
No.
I'm originally from Poland, which in eyes of Germans is probably poor country.
My mother's from Poland. I don't
No,
speak Polish, unfortunately,
yeah,
but um, my
yeah.
mother's
Like
from.
the Germany has a lot of Poles that like fully assimilated as well, including football players, right? That's
Yeah, Miroslav Klose, Podolski.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those two especially. They're Silesian. I actually live close to Germany. My hometown is close to Germany because I live in Hong Kong. So it's another country with like extremely low taxes, to not say no
You live
taxes.
in Hong
Because
Kong.
sorry,
You live in Hong Kong.
that's why
Impressive.
it's such an when you were booking the call. That's why it was such a probably weird times
Hmm.
because of where I live. Yeah.
How did you
Uh,
end up there?
my wife is from here, so I've been here for years with a break during COVID. But my wife is from here, so similarly, quite free economy. I'd even say probably more free than Switzerland. Maybe not in all aspects. I don't know. We have like, there is no taxes, for example, on the capital gains.
Hmm.
So if you make money in crypto, you sell it. There is essentially zero tax on this. You sell the house, I believe there is zero tax. You sell the stock, it's zero tax, right? And dividends. So instead of like when you make salary, you can pay yourself. You might not make the salary, but you might pay yourself the dividends, which are at zero tax. So that's how you do. But like so if you go to supermarket, do you shop because you live near Basel, which is also like close to Germany, right? Close to Germany, close to France. If do you shop in Switzerland, or you go for like big shopping to Germany?
It depends. So we really try to actively, so my wife and I, to buy in Switzerland because if everybody just comes here and buys in other countries, then the country loses its mode. That's what it makes it so successful. So I don't want to come here and just
That's
fuck it up.
that's one of the most German thing I heard. This is sorry for being, but that's very German to say. Yeah, I buy here because I live here, so it's fair.
Yeah.
It's like the um. I have these things in Germany. You essentially have like no limits on the autobahn, right?
Yeah, in some parts, yeah.
In some parts, so that's the. But in many parts, they have like 130 limit, right?
Hmm.
Everyone fucking slow down on that, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So this is like, yeah, need to follow, right? But
Well,
like,
the trick is in Germany, you can always go exactly 20 over the limit. So if it's
right,
120, you can go 140
yeah,
because only if you go 20 too fast on the Autobahn, then you get an expensive ticket. Otherwise, if they catch you, it's like just some bucks, like 100
yeah, yeah,
bucks and go.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. That's what I know. So that's what I heard. Like, was the reason why everyone slowed down, because there is like expensive ticket. How long you've been living in Switzerland?
oh, not long, just 2 months. Just moved here.
All right. So free mover. Okay. Um. Sorry. Do you know Joe Cosmos Joe?
Yeah, I know him.
It might be one of the. I had some devs that are married. How long are you, Sen? How old are you, Sen?
27.
Oh, young guy, young
Whoa,
guy and married. That's
like you.
beautiful.
I mean, how
Sorry,
old are you?
I'll be 33 this year.
Oh, you
At
look
the end.
so young. What's your secret?
Uh no, I don't. I'm balding, so it's
Oh,
uh
habits are the best.
yeah. I got tan. I got some sun, so maybe that's a little bit
Do you take like midday naps?
no,
You know,
no,
for
no. I so this is the problem. I cannot nap. So I sleep long at night. So I don't wake up with the alarm. I just sleep. And I should often I would get 9 hour, 8 hour, sometimes maybe less, but I just sleep, and I go try to go to bed the same time. But if I sleep worse, I cannot nap during the day because I never do it. So if you don't get used to that, will do you nap? You midday nap?
I go to bed when I'm tired, and I wake up when I wake up, or my
Right.
wife wakes me up. And
Yeah.
then if I'm tired, I go to sleep, and if not, it's not. It's very
Yeah.
casual lifestyle.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wasted your 10 minutes of asking personal questions and learning about you, and your background. But obviously, we're here to talk about the cryptographic technology, known as the blockchain technology as well, and innovation that happens in Cosmos. And you happen to be founder of the blockchain in Cosmos.
I'm not the founder. I'm
Oh,
also
wow.
not
Okay.
the founder.
Okay.
I'm just technical leadership of the development team.
Right. And how many CTO? Yeah, I see CTO. And how many people work for Migalo chain?
Um, so the Megaloot chain, it's a decentralized chain with a lot of different people contributing there. The White Whale team is just one of them. So maybe just for a little bit of explanation. So the White Whale team, it's a fairly old team which started its history on Terra Classic
Huh?
a couple of years ago. And after everything collapsed and the team pivoted to a new model, we're now at a point where we have an infrastructure section. We run more than a dozen validators,
Mhm.
and we have some 8 figures in assets there on some quite prominent networks like Injective or Terra.
Oh, wow.
And we also maintain and run open source MEV solutions. So we've been working together with Skip for a long time, and we
Mhm.
have open source arbitrage bots and liquidation bots. So we have quite a vibrant community going there. Then we're core contributors to the Megaloop blockchain,
Mhm.
which is a decentralized layer one. So everybody can put their smart contracts on there. Got all the latest bells and whistles. It's a
Mhm.
or L2 chain. If Juno and stuff like that are the old chains, we're one of the new chains together with Kujira. Um, it also got cross-chain staking capabilities. So that's something we've been doing for, I think, 4 months now. Quite innovative. So you can actually go and stake your Luna on Migaloo right now. So that's a pretty cool feature. And then there is the White Whale protocol, which
Mhm.
also we contribute to. We're the main contributor there. And that's a cross-chain DEX and flash loan application
Mhm.
that we have on 6 chains on mainnet right now,
Yeah.
including Terra, Injective, Comdex, Juno, Chihuahua, and obviously our own chain, Migaloo. So just
Yeah.
for clarification. And I think we have a lot of contributors on various fronts, a lot of people in the ecosystem, but in our team, I think we're at 10 right now, roughly.
Yeah. I saw you quite before. I know you come from Terra. So on Terra, you were just an application. Was that the goal, that you wanted to be the app? I believe the DEX and the flash loans, right? But as an application,
Back on Terra, it was just flash loans.
right? The
Flash bot.
flash loans.
Mhm.
And you know you have the DEX, and it's quite interesting, but also I think quite confusing when it comes to user experience, because I want to ask initially about the DEX, because White Whale is the DEX, but it's like fragmented DEX, right? Is You have the DEX on the Chihuahua chain, you have the DEX like on each of the separate blockchain, and I
Mhm.
wonder, is it really good solution to um fragment your liquidity this way? Because it's just I'm trying to think. I know, like, you kind of have to do it, right, because you deploy the application on each of this chain, but is it really practical from users? Because I think the only way to use um your DEX is actually via DEX aggregator. It's actually quite silly to use your application. That would be my experience. Be-
That's a fantastic point you raise.
yeah.
And the answer is quite long to that. So let me break it down as best as I can. So why are we doing this? Why not just put all the liquidity on one chain? I mean, that's easier. Just do what osmosis do, try to copy that. Well, the issue is, we do all the great efforts, in the Cosmos ecosystem and in blockchain to decentralize consensus and governance. But then we go ahead and just centralize all the liquidity. And if there's one bug, everything's gone. And if there's just, like 10 validators who practically control the whole liquidity of the whole ecosystem, that's not what I've signed up for. I signed up for decentralization and transparency. And that means that even if it's hard, we need to ensure that all layers are decentralized, including liquidity. This is where we start here with our thought process. But you are right, if you start to distribute and decentralize liquidity, you get the issue of fragmented liquidity. I mean, the issue has been there before. There's still Terra, Swap, and Win DEX and all these different DEX on all these different chains. But we're adding to that. This, what we're in right now is what we call internally phase one. So phase one is we deploy we call them satellite markets with DEX and flash loans to all these different chains. And phase two is we will connect these DEXs so that for the user, there will be one deposit button. And in the back end, the liquidity just spreads to 6, 10, 20, whatever amount of chains. If the user wants to swap, he can just use DEX aggregators. Because at the end of the day, no person will ever, in 2 years, I promise you, nobody will ever touch a DEX again. They will only touch the aggregators, because why wouldn't you? You can always get at least the same or better prices there. So, and that problem, we don't even have to tackle this. There are so many great aggregators out there. They do this by themselves. We don't have to even think about this. It just happens naturally. So our focus is more on expanding this and then starting to connect it.
Yeah, this is good point. Like, and obviously you are integrated with TFM, and I think they still get too little of the cloud, because I cannot jump like this. Oh my god. Yeah, like TFM is absolutely great aggregator, but like I try to use it and I don't use it that often. And I think it's still too much going on when it comes to the user experience. I think it could have do better, but especially like the problem is that you still use the blockchain that you want to trade, right? Like let's see, when you go with the quick swap, sorry. When you go to the quick swap, you still need to choose Terra, Juno, Neutron. Oh, actually, TFM is still not integrated, right? So it's still not ideal, because what I want to see, I don't want to see even the Terra, Juno, Neutron. I want to see click all, right? They do have in IBC, but I don't think it should even be like visible, because it doesn't benefit the user, right? It should be choose all chains and swap, and if it's IBC it takes longer, but you shouldn't even know this is IBC, right? So
100%,
yeah. Go on.
100% agreed, and this is only a matter of time. The direction is pretty clear. We've been preaching this for, I don't know, more than a year now, and I think we're very close to reach this level of abstraction. And I think in around half a year we'll be at the point where you just aggregate, swap, and boom, you're done.
Yeah, because I do feel like when you will be integrated with TFM, because I think that would be
We are integrated with TFM.
Oh, why there is no choice of the when I go, for example, quick swap, why there is no choice of having Megalo chain? It's because you deploying on all the other chains, so that it doesn't.
Megalo chain might not be in there, but our satellite markets on the 5 other chains, I think they're all there.
But not like there is still no Chihuahua. It seems in the quick swap, there is no
Good point.
Chihuahua, no
I'll make
inject.
some notes here to fix that.
Yeah. At least maybe I'm doing wrong, but if I go to the quick swap, right, something that people probably will use most often
Yeah, you're right.
than
You're
up
right.
here. But yeah, like a good point about everything going down. Because I do think like people underestimate how dangerous is still using osmosis, right? What it would essentially take is the bug in the code, and once it happened, and I think they were lucky that it wasn't more severe. It was $5 million that essentially came back later, but someone could exploit largest pool, and that would be essentially over for osmosis. Maybe not over, but the damages would be large. So let's say if you have 20 chain integrated and each of them has $5 million TVL, you spread the risk, right? But you can go to aggregator and you can get the best prices because it will find the best route for you. Yeah.
Exactly. And to add to that question, why, or to the answer why liquidity is needed on the different chains, because you could still make the argument, yeah, but you don't need liquidity on Chihuahua, or you don't need liquidity on, whatever. But
Hmm.
actually, you do. So let me give you a couple of examples. So this is a proof by example why you need a DEX on Chihuahua and you need a DEX on
Hmm.
Umi. Um, that osmosis, a market that osmosis can serve. So
Hmm.
two examples. If you want to get the most out of your lending market, you want to enable users to loop so they can leverage their lending and borrowing,
Hmm.
right? You put in USDC, you borrow Juno, you sell the Juno, you put in more USDC, you borrow Juno, short with leverage.
Hmm.
But you need a DEX for this. If it were via IBC, it would take you like 5 minutes if you go for
Yeah,
five
yeah.
times leverage, 5 times back and forth, and then something goes wrong. Doesn't work. You need a DEX, and then it's in one transaction, boom, 10x short, 10x long. You need a
Yeah.
DEX. That's why you can check the UMI Twitter page. We've had some Twitter spaces with them, and we'll be launching on their chain, soon. And this will enable them to, just build more products. You can do leverage lending then, and you can
Hmm.
also do some cool stuff. For example, with liquidation queues. You can then select, all right, I want to bid on this asset, but I don't want to receive it. I put in $10,000 because I'm quite sure there will be some big liquidations on Juno soon because the price might dump, but I don't want
Hmm.
to hold the Juno. I just want to sell it directly. Well, you need a DEX for this.
Yeah.
And that's the UMI case. Just another example to really drive the point home. Raccoon, the gaming application. Your games need to be as seamless as possible. And to do that, well, you pointed out, abstract away the blockchains. That's one thing. But also abstract away the tokens. Why do you want to force your users to buy your token when they just want to play the game? You
Hmm.
can enable them to play with anything. They have some shitcoins lying around, yeah, just play with them. And
Yeah.
you need DEX for this because the DEX auto converts it into whatever the game needs. Let's say the game just accepts one token, but if you put the DEX in front of it and hide it all, you can just select shitcoin X, all the
Hmm.
tokens, gamble. The DEX converts it into the token the contract needs, and if you win, you get it back, and if not, you're not. And you can
Yeah.
only do this with the DEX on the chain.
Everyone's shilling the shade. Uh, I don't know, like what I maybe I need to FOMO in the shade. Everyone I speak to, they say I love shade, I love shade, I love shade. It's like most random people say to me like I love shade. So just referencing to the comment of Joe. Like when it comes to the gaming, I'm still like not sure if the gaming should be on chain as long as we don't have the fraction like instant transaction or anything like this. Because the only game you are essentially able to make as of now, right? It's like probably gambling game, some of the betting, which is like nothing fun, and Web 2 give you maybe actually like bring some like early days of MMORPG, like those were quite fun, but those
Yeah.
cannot be like done on chain. But I see like those games could have maybe like influence. You spoke about leverage loan, which yeah, like Chris said, like I'm not big gamer, so but I'm thinking about borrowing with leverage, because let's say I have I have 10,000 worth of ST atom, and I can borrow 70% against that of atoms, right? And if it dumps like 20-30%, I'm gonna get liquidated. How to make it, um because I'm not really thinking very well today, how to make it that I can borrow three amount, like I will never be able to leverage myself to the point to borrow more, is it?
Oh, you can. It's quite easy. Let's say
Yeah.
10,000 atom. You want to go long atom. So you
Hmm.
put in 10,000 atom, you borrow $7,000. You trade the dollars against atom and you put them in again.
Oh,
And then
so
you borrow again.
essentially looping. Yeah.
Exactly. And you can do this. If you do it right, the UI will show you input, long short button, red for short, long for green, and then a slider for leverage, and then
Yeah.
the execute button.
I,
And
w-
in the
I,
back,
wa- I want
borrow, loop. Boom, 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 boom.
and I want to ask you, what would be the purpose of looping? It works because you have 20% inflation on Cosmos, borrowing against your ST atoms and increasing your position. If you are lucky, you probably can go to 30-40%. Sometimes I would say probably closer to 30% on the on your position when it comes to staking rewards. But what would be the purpose of looping if inflation is at 1 or 2%, right? And the APR is not as significant. Is it still making sense? Is there
Well,
still market for that?
you loop if you want to capture on price movements. So sure, there is this um, responsible, low risk leverage guy who just, puts in 10,000 atom and just borrows $1,000 or $5,000. Just buy some more atoms. So his liquidation price is like at $1, which never happens. So
Okay.
he's very responsible, but can also go, all right, atom is at 9.8 right now. And I believe in 1 hour, it will be breaking through 10 straight towards 11. So I go all in, leverage long, and I just make
Yeah.
a lot of bank here. So
Yeah.
there's
Okay.
huge use case for leverage trading.
Sen, I must put a check on you now, because it makes sense, right? Okay, no, it's okay, because there is a lot of shitcoins in Cosmos, so
I
that
mean,
would
I
make
think
sense. But
imagine how nice it would be if you could instant short every Cosmos shitcoin with 10x leverage, because
yeah,
they're going to zero anyways.
so yeah, that would be very nice, because we were using example of the atom, right? So I can borrow and buy more atom,
Yeah.
but I can also go to like DYDX and leverage long 10x, which is way easier and better user experience, right? And quicker and less complicated. So this strategy, like leverage shorting and leverage longing, it's only would work on the tokens that are small, hence not integrated in the big protocols. Am I correct here?
I think it would work on every token. I don't see why there's a problem if there's multiple products with similar, similar
Wh-
offerings.
why would I leverage myself, like leverage long myself, borrowing against USD and buying more atom, instead of going to DYDX and leverage long atom? Why would I choose the first strategy?
Why do people choose, I don't know, Astroport over Terra swap? People just, I mean,
I
there's
mean, it would.
Coinbase, there's
Well, well,
off.
the answer is very simple because um it would take me 30 seconds on DYDX and half an hour using Umi. So
Yeah, not with the
because I
bot.
have to do this IBC transfers and keep longing that, and then after 1 hour, if my trade is successful, I have to unwrap it for another hour.
Well, but not if Umi has a DEX on chain, then it's just
Mhm.
one transaction, and it's just as seamless as it can be.
Oh
You
yeah,
put
that would be.
$10,000. I want to short Juno into the ground. Boom, 10x leverage.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mix up because I was thinking like I was still talking about the borrowing against the asset because you
And
were
then
giving me example that if
manually.
you loop, it's like longing and shorting, but looping doesn't make sense if you don't have inflation because then you would rather short it or long it with leverage on the DEX. So hence, I would argue that um looping in order to long something make absolutely no sense as long as you don't have inflation, right? Because I don't think the looping of Ethereum makes sense because the inflation of Ethereum goes low, like because actually the people don't know that I think the APR is 5%, but it's only because so little people stake it. But there is barely, it's essentially like the inflation is very 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 little, I'd say. But yeah, I'm just trying to think, and someone has some comment about um yeah, like I actually, you responded to me. I do think there is actually too many Cosmos chains, right? You do this stuff, and like I think you're proving that, and if what you speak, your goal is to actually make your user experience better. But I think the more chains we get, is becoming really unpleasant experience in Cosmos. I must say, year ago or something, I felt better. It's not because of the prices; it just was easier, right?
Mm.
Because you would have like two chains you use, and now you have to go here, go here, go here. So I don't think that works. You have the other product that I actually don't understand, which is flash loans. And I
Mhm.
want to learn how the flash loans work.
Yeah. So flash loans, they're a little bit exotic in the sense
Mhm.
that you don't see it very often, and retail users typically don't get into contact with it because this is a product focused at developers, specifically
Mhm.
bot builders. So what flash loans allow you to do is, like the name suggests, it allows you to take a loan of practically unlimited amount of money. So how much money is available, you can take that. You can do whatever you like with that money, but here's the catch. You have to pay it back in the same transaction.
Yeah. Can you give me example of
Sure.
of use case of flash loan? Why would I take the flash loan? Yeah.
Sure. Let me give you an example. So there's two DEX. You're on a chain and there are two DEXs. One
Mm-hmm.
DEX, it allows you to buy Atom at $20.
Mm-hmm.
Atom is trading at $20 there. And the other DEX, Atom is trading at $10.
Okay.
Huge price difference. So you see this and you think, well, I want to buy low and sell high. So you can go ahead, with your, I don't know, 100 liquid Atom, sell them on the expensive DEX, buy them low again on the other DEX, and do this until the market stabilizes.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can write yourself a bot that does this automatically. It calculates exactly, all right, to get the most profit out of this market imbalance, I need to take 6,500 Atom, sell high, and then buy low again.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to hold 6,500 Atom in your wallet at all times just to wait for something to happen, you just take a flash loan.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, like, doesn't well, short block times are good, but it seems also like, correct me if I'm wrong, make difficulties, because you have around 6 second block times as well. That's not very long block. That doesn't give me very long window in repaying the flash loan, right?
Well, it has to be in the same transaction. So you cannot even do it in the same block. You have to do it in the same
Right.
transaction.
So
So you have
how
to,
I
yeah.
do it in the same transaction when it
Well,
I can
Cosmos,
only do it on your chain then, is it?
so our flash loan product is deployed on all 6 chains. So you can
Right.
take flash loans on all the different chains. And Cosmos works in a way that you have transactions, and every transaction contains a list of messages.
Mm-hmm.
So a message, for example, is send. So
Mm-hmm.
you can have one transaction that does 10 send messages.
Mm-hmm.
And likewise, you can have one transaction that takes a flash loan, sells high, buys low, and repays the flash loan and pockets the rest, all in the same transaction. And this is
Um,
something you have to code.
yeah, so I wonder, like, if I'm on the, let's give example, Chihuahua chain and Injective or something, some other chain, right? Chihuahua chain and the chain X, and I see that the atom is cheaper on Chihuahua chain. Is it
Mhm.
still possible to take the flash loan on the other blockchain?
Mhm.
So it has to be the same blockchain.
Yes, 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 yes. It has to be the same blockchain. To make it a little bit more confusing, um, blockchains, they are synchronous. So,
Yeah.
but IBC, so connecting blockchains via IBC is asynchronous. And flash loans require you to be in a synchronous environment. So it has to be on a single blockchain. That's why we have these flash loan vaults on all the different
Hmm.
blockchains. If you want to do cross-chain or inter-chain arbitrage, you actually have to, you need funds sitting around so you can, send them over, buy low, send them over, sell high, and complete the circle.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because you go so much multi-chain. So like, I think the flash loans actually probably now would be easiest on Terra, because there's few DEXs on Terra, right? So you can go on this different DEXs, but I cannot like go see some opportunity on like Astroport and also like do something on Osmosis, because two different chains. So actually, the fragmentation of the blockchain make like all of this less efficient, I guess. But then you
Exactly. But
have
that's the
arbitrage that you can
price
do.
you have to pay for decentralization.
Yeah,
If all the world were just on a single server, it would many things would be so easy. But we don't want this.
yeah,
So you want to decentralize, and decentralized systems are always slower and more inefficient than centralized systems. You could have an Excel sheet as a database, and that would be more efficient than any blockchain there is
yeah,
because it's centralized.
yeah. Um,
Um, yeah.
I'd like to ask, because you come from Terra, which is now renamed to Terra Classic.
Mhm.
Um, you said you started there a few years ago, and I noticed there was like, I don't know, the community was quite special there. Like, what for you was like, was there something on Terra that now you are missing in crypto, that there was like, oh, I wish we would go back in time? Was there something like that?
Well, I think there was a lot of easy money, so I think everybody had a good time there.
Yeah. So that's the main thing that you miss in the easy money. Yeah.
No, 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 no. I'm just joking around.
Yeah.
I
It.
think what a lot of people really excite, and by no means I'm not a OG Terra. So I know people who went in like at a fraction of a dollar, and they've been riding this thing up and down, and a lot of those people, they have been in for what I think is, you could call it, in it for the tech, but I think
Mhm,
they have been in it for the vision that
mhm,
Docoin provided them at the time, which was the idea of, hey, let's get us decentralized and censorship resistant money.
mhm.
And well, Docoin failed. I think it's obvious for everybody now. But still, I think there are a lot of people who are yearning for that freedom to transact and that security that CBDCs will not hammer them down in the coming years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what a lot of the OGs were in for, really.
Yeah. Um, would you say now most of your community still come from Terra, or you build up new users in Cosmos?
Um, it's hard to say. I think we've been able to build up a new community that's really focused around whale. So we've kind of found our own niche,
Yeah.
which happens to be rather easy because not only do we have our own chain, but we also have our markets on all the chains. So every
Mm-hmm.
time we go on a new chain, there's some users that get hooked on this idea and join our community.
Mm-hmm.
But still, there's
Cool.
a lot of our OG community comes from Terra, and unfortunately, if you so right now in the ecosystem, there isn't much community anymore. You have the Kujira community. It's a great community, really active, but they're all old Terra guys. You have the whale community, which is all fantastic community, so active, really high energy, positive vibes every day. But again, also a lot of old Terra
Yeah.
people. I don't know. Juno doesn't really have a strong community. Stargaze, managed to build a, small but, dedicated
Mhm.
community. But what else is there?
Yeah. Those communities are very very small. You mentioned Kujira. I'm late to Kujira, but the reason why I really like them because they're like so much I don't give a shit like mindset. They're like, yeah, the Kepler wants a lot of money from us. We're just gonna build our own wallet. It makes
Mm,
more sense. I think now it's like Minsk can actually kick them out because they don't pay, so they build in their own um um how you explorer chain explorer, right? So I
mhm.
really like it, and the people there also they don't give a shit. They are just like fully committed. Yeah, I'm Kujira, and I think Cosmos is really lacking that, like lacking that approach. That is pretty cool. I didn't interact with much of the white whale community, but I do hope it's the same. Someone was saying about what is the point of having flash loans in every Cosmos chain essentially has one DEX.
There's still opportunity. So on some chains, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But as soon as, let's say, there is, pools that allow arbitrage, flash loans make sense. But in general, you can say that the more the stronger the ecosystem is, so more DEXs, hundreds and thousands of
Mhm,
pools, the more relevant flash loans become.
mhm,
If you have just a single DEX with 5 pools, well, you might as well not have them there. In the sense of a complete product, we ship everything, even if the flash loans might not be utilized, but we
mhm,
still ship a complete product.
mhm.
But yeah, the comment is in general right. Flash loan, the more the ecosystem grows, the more you need flash loans.
Yeah, yeah. We're talking a little bit about spending. Like you messaged me in regards of the tweet I left. How is White Whale funding itself? Did you raise some money?
Um, yeah. So the White Whale team, coming from Terra Classic, the founder did the seed round, I think, 2 years ago. I don't really know. I've never been much involved in
Hmm.
these matters. At a seed price of 3.5 cent. And back in the days, the round was for just a Terra app,
Huh?
nothing more, just the app with a billion supply. And the seed round was at 3.5 cents. So now we airdropped our token one to one to the all token holders that got racked. But now we're at a total supply of less than 600 million. So we cut out over 400
Yeah.
million. We're not only a protocol, we're a chain, full blown layer one with 6 applications on 6 chains. and I think we're sitting at 2.7 cents right now, so still under the seed price. So back to your question, how do we finance ourselves? So there was this race, but in the crash, most of the money got lost, unfortunately.
Mhm.
So that put us in a
Yeah, that's
spot.
what I'm. That's what I'm. That's what I'm. That would be my follow up question. If you essentially decided to lose it all,
Hmm.
in the in the Terra crash.
No, we decided to not lose it all. I mean, to be frank, so our protocol was designed to protect the UST peg. Now,
Mhm.
that didn't work out. I think we had a TVL of peak 40 million, and it was trying to protect 40 billion. So
Mhm.
that actually didn't work out. But I remember, you know, the team, didn't sleep for days, and they tried their best to get it sorted out. But at the end of the day, we just had to, go to survival mode, and the founder rescued some of
Yeah.
the funds in conversation with the investors. So since then, the team pivoted, and we now have validators.
Mhm.
That's a great source of income
Is
because,
it possible to know how much money you have left from that period, or you don't have access to this type of information?
to be frank, I don't really know. I don't really
Okay.
care.
Yeah. 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 Good.
I don't really care. Um, but I mean, if you want to get an answer to that, I think you need to address that to Sebastian. He's
Mhm.
the founder. He's the CEO. He knows. He knows
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
I'm just a tech guy. So,
Yeah. I get that. That's fine. Yeah.
um, so what was your question again? You salvage some money. Validators, great source of decentralized income in that sense, because we
Mhm.
support all these different chains with our DEXs, flash loans, with all the different applications, and you know that way we can also support them on the infrastructure level and get something
Mhm.
in return. So
Mhm.
our community, that's one of the nice things. They delegate to us on a lot of different chains, so we're in quite good positions there, and this helps us to finance ourselves in some ways. And there was some money left, and we've been able to do some OTC deals, but no major raise or something in that line.
Right. Yeah, I was asking because of that exchange. My problem with the Cosmos ecosystem is, and I think many people fail to acknowledge that, or it's very hard even to discuss with the blockchains, because it's like, um we have many chains in Cosmos, and nearly all of them chose the same way of funding. Let's shield the token to people and make them put liquidity, and how we fund, we will sell the token to pay ourselves or developers. And it works as long as you have a lot of volume and a lot of buying pressure. It's absolutely fine. But it stops working when there is no liquidity. It actually doesn't work at all. And you are in the situation where you tell people, yeah, we're gonna liquidate, so the price is gonna dump 10%, right? So you are going to, like, they telling you right into your face, you're gonna lose money, but it's okay because we do it for you, right?
Let me
And
tell
I
you
don't.
something even worse. It's not only about funding development. So I used to start the blockchain, and I designed the protocol and all that stuff. And when I design these things, I have goals in mind. Like, I want this protocol, this token, this application to have these properties. So I design around that. If you
Mhm.
were to come to me, hey, David, I want to design a blockchain and the tokenomics, and I want to make the most amount of money out
Mhm.
of the users, I would do it the following way. I would, create a chain, just copycat some bullshit, whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Do it some really nice, facelifting. Then I would put vest my tokens for a decade. Never selling, guys. Never selling my token. Vested for eternity.
Hmm.
Put in high inflation and stake my tokens.
Yeah.
So by
That.
the time even the first week is over, I got more tokens from the super hyperinflationary staking rewards than my whole vested amount is. At the same time, I will, market the shit out of it, do a huge airdrop, so a lot of people, get attracted to this. APRs 20,000% daily on, this token, stake it now, and I'm just pocketing all the money and dumping this into the ground. This is how I would do maximum exploitation.
Wait, what you just described is the what most of the Cosmos blockchains did.
Well, that's what
So
you said. No. I'm just
because
telling you, if I were to
I could
design
bring the names of the blockchains, and actually, it happened with the blockchain I work, Stargaze. The inflation was huge. Staking reward was probably 150%, and incentives on the pool were like 400% or something, right? And there are vested tokens, but what's the purpose of vested tokens if you can stake them? It and the best part is, I realize that you try to talk to people that, hey, this is not good way, and they will tell you, yeah, but this is very good for distribution. And I'm like, if it's very good for distribution, why the founders can stake the tokens? If your goal, so they like, so they, and if you get argument back, hey, it's good for distribution, I don't want to talk anymore, because either they don't think or they try to like make up the additional argument. So that, and recently we saw that with Kanto as well, right? Kanto introduced like these crazy incentives. So now, how you make it right, I want to ask.
Thanks for the question. That's why when I designed the whale tokenomics, I tried to avoid this. So, so all the tokens are staked. So all team tokens are staked. So that's I think so. They're stakeable. Let's call it like that. But there is just 4% inflation.
Yeah.
Not a single base point more, not a single base point less. So what that means is the sell pressure is just magnitudes lower. And if I were to sell all my staking rewards, it still wouldn't put a dent into the total supply, because what is 4% per year?
Yeah, and I
Some
imagine you
banks do
probably
that
don't
anyway.
even sell much sometimes, because I would assume your revenues from maybe running validator or injective is more. So like if you, right?
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely, definitely. So we try to make sure that the system isn't designed to maximally exploit retail and just suck the money out of them, but to actually create a sustainable blockchain or decentralized economy. And you need inflation for this. So you need inflation for growth, similar to how the Fed is aiming at 2% inflation. You need it to get movement into the system. But if you do hyperinflation with these, I vest everything and you just buy in, then you exploit. So the trick is, right from the get-go, low inflation, predictable inflation. And then if somebody from the team or some investors or whale wants to sell, they can sell. Sure, it's open market, but they have to get to their principal. They can't just perma dump their staking rewards and just dump the whole chain into the ground, because it's just not enough.
Yeah, I think you were lucky, because there is this like I would say second generation chains coming. So the first generation chains on Cosmos was all of this like hyperinflationary chains, and all of you have the advantage seeing how they all go to like nowhere. And it's White Whale, I think it's Stride, it's Kujira, and a few others that adjust that, and I think price wise they do perform much better. I wonder what's like you plan for White Whale. We were speaking about DEX aggregators, so I wonder, do you plan maybe doing at least maybe for White Whale one connected UI for all the blockchains that you support, the swap for all the, that would be my thinking, right? Yeah.
Eventually, yes. So we're still in phase one, which is expansion phase of our market. So we just got a 4 million Luna liquidity injection on Terra. That proposal passed. On Chihuahua, there's a proposal to get passed to inject 4 billion Huawei into the DEX. So we're still expanding and positioning ourselves. But yeah, the goal is to phase two to connect all of this. So we're not interested in doing DEX aggregators. They're great teams and they're much better at this. They can do this. But we want to provide this unified access to all these markets in
Yeah.
just a convenient way, among other
What
things.
was very interesting for me to see that you actually have one of the deepest, or maybe it's the deepest, liquidity on Chihuahua. Like Chihuahua, like was I think the Chihuahua was maybe it's fair to say the first one that actually supported and discovered white whale, and its community got quite integrated, right? Luna liquidity is quite good. I think it's close to million or
We're,
something like
and
that.
we're getting 4 million this or next week in as well. So that's quite
Oh,
big for us.
amazing! Yeah, so it will be the biggest liquidity that you have.
In fact, the Luna satellite market of our DEX will have a higher TVL than the whole ecosystem.
Oh,
And the
nice.
ecosystem consists of a lot of different teams and like full-blown layer one value mechanism.
How will be the liquidity used? You said 4 million Luna, correct?
Staking pools. So they will be going to Backbone Labs and Eris protocol. They have two AMP
Mhm.
Luna and Bone Luna liquid staking tokens.
Right.
And the Luna will be split between them and then pooled on our DEX, Luna B Luna and Luna AMP Luna.
Yeah. I got this. And if you don't mind to tell me, I assumed it must be your liquid staking version, because there is a few liquid stake version of your whale tokens, right? There
Mm-hmm.
is B whale,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
And there is amp whale. Is it
Mm-hmm.
just two different liquid staking apps?
It's two different teams. So one of the things I think you will find interesting is that we've been pioneering this let's go cross chain
Mm-hmm.
first. So we have been doing this for over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
So just now, people start to realize, hey, we need to go cross-chain. Let's deploy satellite. We've been doing this for a year. Right after the Terra crash, we've been working at this.
Mm-hmm.
And we noticed how incredibly hard this is from a technical and
Mm-hmm.
engineering perspective. It's just so much work to go cross-chain. And we thought, all right, we've been doing this for a long time. Let's help other teams achieve the same way and create
Mm-hmm.
some win-win situations. So that's why we have a program. We call it the RIDE program. And essentially, teams can join this and we help them with all our expertise, infrastructure, advisory, all that stuff to go cross-chain. And in return, they integrate, in our system.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a win-win situation because it drives activity to our system. At the same time, they can, explore much more ecosystems in a short amount of time. So we
Mm-hmm.
have 3 participants in this program right now, which is Backbone Labs, Eris Protocol, and Raccoon. So Raccoon just migrated their token to Migaloo, and ever since we started working together, they have been expanding to new ecosystems. So they used to be just on Juno and I think Chihuahua as well, but now they're shooting for I think 7 or 8 chains by the end of the year. So really going cross-chain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's one of the things
Yeah.
we're also
You know,
doing.
there's one comment in regard of funding that a lot of builders are already operating on loss in the bear market, so it would be stupid to stop. I completely understand that. But if I hold a token and you tell me in the next 30 days your token go down for 10 or 20% because we liquidate tokens, I will sell it because it would be completely stupid. So I'm saying just the strategy of funding is absolutely purposeless. It doesn't work. Like it can't work. It's impossible to work if that's your funding strategy. You
Not
need
in,
to.
in this, not in this liquidity environment. Sure, it works in a bull market, but here it's very. Thank you for the impressive hair growth comment. Yeah, I'm trying to my best to really grow a nice hair again.
Did
But
you
you're right.
shave your head or what?
Yeah. So at the Prague conference, we were working together with Rockaway
Right.
from Cosmos Gateway, and they released a new product called Launch Stake Bar, and we've been their launch partner. And to incentivize a little bit activity, make it fun, and also to decentralize Migaloo,
Hmm.
we had a challenge. So if we reach certain milestones of decentralization, I have to shave my head. So there's a video on YouTube. It was the closing act where one of the guys from Rockaway shaves my head on stage.
Yeah,
I'll let
I saw it. I just didn't know it's you. There is a lot of conferences in Paris. Why are you not there?
I will be there.
Oh,
Nebula Builders. I have my talk on Monday, half an hour before lunch.
all right. Because there was Awesome Wasm, there is Osmocon, and Nebula Summit. I
Yeah,
think
Nebula.
quite a lot of events essentially for the same audience. I'm not essentially sure like why,
Yeah,
but
and I'm not too excited to go to every event because I'm here to work and not just talk all day. So
yeah,
sure, I like doing spaces once or twice a week, doing an interview, maybe
yeah,
conference every other month, but not like
yeah.
traveling. I want to work. That's why I'm
Can
here.
you tell me what are your favorite chains in Cosmos?
Oh, Migaloo, of course.
Beyond Migalo, yeah, yeah.
Beyond Migaloo. Um, what are my favorite chains? So I like Chihuahua. I think they're a little bit mistreated. I think they have a cool community. I
Right.
like. Same goes with Luna Classic. They have this huge community. They're really, in it, and I
Mhm.
really value that highly. So I really like those two chains.
That's interesting choice. I would never like guess that. Like as you said, Chihuahua. Like no one really, I think, treats them very seriously. And Lung Classic, I think they did went through some problems. I see you are not on Minscan. The White Whale is not on Minscan, is it? Is it because it cost money to be there? How much it cost? Do you know?
Mm, we're not having any correspondence right now, so I can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
So I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's okay. You were speaking about the inflation before. Are you like interested in the macro markets? Like because you were mentioning the Switzerland or
Yeah. So I'm an idiot when it comes to trading, so
yeah.
I better not give any predictions. But I try to stay informed. And if you design tokenomic systems, you need to at least grasp some concepts um, of economics. Otherwise, um, it won't work.
Oh, this is the good one. Hey there, Sen. What's your take on Sunny comments that the Alliance team Alliance, I believe it's Alliance of Terra, right? Is the
Mhm.
should work on mesh security.
No,
What do you think of mesh security?
it's great. I think it's great. What people
What isn't it very most expensive security model that's out there?
let me explain to you what I think. Right now we have three security models:
Right.
the chain security, mesh security, and alliance. But put alliance in brackets because it's actually not a security model. And I see so much conversation. Oh, like this is better. Oh no, that is better. And it's just complete bullshit because the people don't even begin to understand that all three solutions or technologies have different purposes. So interchain security is essentially rent your validators. I so if I have a great product, I want to launch a chain, and I don't want to deal with any validators because that's a lot of work. It's a
Yeah.
lot of work, and I don't want to deal with that bullshit. So I just launch a consumer chain. Boom, problem solved. I have a big chain, but I want to, secure it even further with other big chains. I want to use mesh security. And Alliance is a monetary policy tool. So with Alliance, think of it like this: you have a stream of inflation. On Migala, we have 4%. On some other chains, it's a little bit more. And right now, that stream goes 100% to the stakers. But similar to how the government, which prints money, directs money to where it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, I know they're not doing this with the best of the people in the mind, but ideally, this is how the system works. Blockchains can do the same. So we can go ahead and start subsidizing things. So a new token launches on our chain, and the Migaloo community decides, hey, I like the token, great product, great team. We want to support, we want to subsidize them.
Mm-hmm.
So we will direct 5% of our inflation to their token, bootstrapping it, bootstrapping their system. That's alliance. Or we want to have chain-owned liquidity. This pool on this DEX on our chain is so critically important. We just need 10 million liquidity in there. So let's put 10% of our own inflation on that pool because we want to subsidize that. That's alliance. And all three, completely different things. All three, I think, have their places.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty interesting take, because I'm actually not so I would say I'm not as positive about the proposed security model. I'm not sure if there is the good market for the mesh security, because I think it's very expensive to, if you have a lot of small networks and you change validators, essentially the cost of whole of that infrastructure is a lot, and I find it quite inefficient. I think the more interesting model is even like I think eigenlayer, using that uh staked ETH that they will capture to secure other chains, because that would be cheap, right? That will be much cheaper than, and I mean, not sure if interchain security is like great solution, because it does seem also like as a quite expensive model. So that's why I'm like having doubts here, and I think that there may be too much focus on like pushing the certain security, but I'm just no expert, right? This so
It's a very sensible take. And I cannot comment on which will find product market fit,
mhm,
because that depends on so many different factors. But still, all three technologies are wildly different. So
mhm,
everyone can find its niche and they could even coexist together. You could have, major chains all secured with mesh security, and all of these chains, they're actually clusters and have, a lot of consumer chains,
mhm,
and they, use alliance for their monetary policy. So that's the
mhm,
way this could play out. So
mhm.
there's room for all of them.
Yeah. Regarding monetary policies, I'm kind of, but that's like, from me, like I'm quite concerned, because you were talking about inflation early on, and I'm afraid that we going so low that we might hit very opposite soon, way soon. uh and I'm not sure if that would be very good for blockchain, if we hit like -1 for US dollar inflation, at the same time having in like treasuries yielding you 6%. I'm not sure if there will be liquidity coming to blockchain, but maybe they will, right? I hope I'm wrong about this, but like, as we were talking about those things before.
I don't think inflationary yield is sustainable in the context of blockchains. Sure.
Well, yeah, like I was speaking about the real world, but yeah, I don't think I think blockchains are like working essentially the same way as the securities, whatever people say. And securities in the early days, they are diluted, but usually via the um sell, when they raise money only, right? They raise money, or the allocation to the founders, like but there is no giving away the shares every day to dump on the market, so it doesn't seem to be a great model, I think, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Sen, you want to add something at the end that I haven't asked?
Um,
Maybe why something
yeah.
we missed about white whale, that there
I
is.
think we covered everything on Whitewell. I really cordially invite you to check out what we're doing. I think there's a lot of
I
you know,
should, because I like the base takes. I like the reasonable thoughts. I think that's what missing in Cosmos. Like sometimes like the critique is taken as the fact, like like when someone says like, oh, I'm concerned about the interchain security, many people will not respond to you just because you have no right to say that. But like, why
Mm.
not? I think it's not healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's important to, a lot of people fail to differentiate between people and thoughts. So I don't care if the president says something and that's wrong, or if the garbage man says something. Both can be wrong or true. You just have to listen to what people say, and no matter who the person is, it can be right or wrong. So
Yeah.
you're completely right on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys are new to Whale and what we're doing, just go to the Twitter page. There's a link tree, and that gets you started in Discord, Telegram, all our apps, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That's the best way to
Yeah.
start. If you have any questions, Discord, that's the place.
Yeah. Sen, thanks a lot. I'm gonna drop. I still need to get some food. Because it's like I think I'm 7 hours ahead of you or something like that. What time is it there? Is it 2 or 3?
It's
Sorry,
four.
4. 6 hours, only 6 hours ahead. It's not bad. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for this. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for the introduction to white whale. Sorry for my ignorance that I didn't know much about white whale. I hope I will know more. And yeah, let's stay in touch so we can do something together. If you want me to do something that you find interesting that you bring, I'll always be happy to try to do something with that. So thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of your day down there in Switzerland, and take care. So